Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about how to attract, engage, and retain clients to your veterinary hospital using digital marketing. My name is Brandon Brashears, and in today's episode, we are talking about analytics. It is the first of 6 incredibly important things that you need to have set up for your veterinary hospital when it comes to marketing so that you can be successful. Marketing and analytics go hand in hand. If you don't know what's working or if you don't know what is not working, you are not going to be successful. And I actually believe that the easiest way to become better at marketing, it's like a life hack. If you can just implement analytics and understand what's happening, you're going to be able to get dramatically better at marketing because you're going to understand what's happening. You're going to understand what's not working and what is working. So a lot of people talk about analytics, but we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of exactly what you need to have set up so that you can be successful, measure your marketing in a meaningful way, and actually make adjustments that are going to help your veterinary hospital. So before we begin, I want to mention just a couple things. First of all, I would like to thank our sponsor for today's episode. They're also the sponsor for the free training around analytics. We have 3 no-brainer ways to track your digital marketing. Is the training coming up. It helps you understand where your ROI is coming from. This is all sponsored by Used Vet Equipment and New Vet Equipment, which are 2 websites by Brad Haven. For over 9 years now, Used Vet Equipment has helped vets buy and sell used veterinary equipment. You can save money when you buy used vet equipment on everything from cages, kennels, pumps, x-ray equipment, lasers, ultrasounds, dental equipment, surgery equipment, lab equipment, from manufacturers like Abaxis, IDEX, and Heska, tables, tubs, sinks, vet trucks, and vet boxes. Do you have anything to sell? It's a great way to go and find both buyers and sellers of veterinary equipment. At Used Vet Equipment, they bring the buyer and seller together. Also, are you looking for new vet equipment with amazing warranties? You can check out newvetequipment.com, where we show you the price up front. They have digital x-ray equipment, dental x-ray equipment, ultrasound equipment, LED surgery lighting, surgery tables, autoclaves. When you go to newvetequipment.com, you'll clearly see the price on every item that's for sale. You'll also have a great warranty so that you can buy without regret. At newvetequipment.com, they show you the price and give you a great warranty. All right, so that's the first thing. The other thing that I mentioned is that they're sponsoring the trainings that we have coming up. We have monthly trainings every single month. I'm really excited about it. A lot of great new things going on. The best way to stay up to date, by the way, is to head on over to the Veterinary Marketing Nerds Facebook group. I've got a lot of great training already planned for you, already produced. It's going to be free and some more advanced ones that you can pay for. But usedvetequipment.com is sponsoring all the free training so that you can go and get some really good training that's going to help you to grow your veterinary hospital. So let's jump into today's episode. We're talking about Google Analytics. First of all, measuring is incredibly important. You need to understand what is going on so that you can make informed decisions. I want you to think back really quick. What did you eat for lunch 2 days ago? You probably don't remember. I don't remember. We have so much stuff going on. And that is the approach that most people take when it comes to their marketing. They don't, number one, either take notes of things. They don't write things down. They don't understand how traffic is engaging with posts and content and ideas and emails. And there's so much going on that if you do not have analytics, you're basically just kind of winging it and hoping that your message and your marketing is going to be resonating with the right audiences. So the easiest way to get better at marketing, in my opinion, is to set up analytics properly. Google Analytics is a great product because, number one, it's free. Number 2, it's comprehensive. It's pretty easy to use. And actually, Google Analytics 4 just came out about a year ago. Now, actually didn't just come out, but it's been out for about a year. And it has a ton of really great new features built into it, especially around the events and conversion side, which is really, really cool. So it's, in my opinion, Google is coming together to produce really great cohesive products. In the past, it was that everything was kind of separate and clunky and it didn't really fit together as well as it could, in my opinion. But they're really working on changing and integrating things. So Google Analytics is the way to go. You need to have Google Analytics installed on your site. And even if you're not going to be looking at it, you need to be having it installed so that you can look back and have benchmarks and understand how your traffic is performing historically. So number one, anytime you create a site or have a site, you need to make sure that you keep it cohesive on a Google Analytics account. In my opinion, too, I would like to keep it under the same analytics account, even if you change website providers, just so that you understand how traffic is comparing. Obviously, if you have to create a new analytics account, so be it. But I think, number one, if you can have some continuity to that, so you can go back and look and see what's working and what's not. So number one, you need to have it installed. The second thing that I think is really important is that you just understand the different aspects of it. So real quick, we're just going to go through a few of the things that you can do on Google Analytics. So number one, I think it's important that we understand some of the language that's around it. So first off, we have some major terms that you really need to know. The first of which is users. Users are unique individuals who are coming to the site. So if a person comes to the site and then they come back again, it's only going to count as one user. So it tracks people as unique visitors to the site. Users are unique visitors. Next, you have sessions. Now, sessions are the people coming to your website and then maybe coming back again. So each time somebody comes back, let's say you have one user, they're coming back multiple times, that's going to record individual sessions. So every single time a person comes to the site, it records a session, whether or not it's unique or not. So you have users, which are just everybody who's visited your site. Then you have new users, which are people who are on the first visit. And then you have sessions. And sessions are how many times both users and new users are visiting, even if they come back again. So that's, I think, something important. Now, when you log into Google Analytics, it gives you a dashboard. It'll give you a 7-day period. You'll see how many users you have, how many new users you have. You can set this third column to default. It says total revenue, but veterinary hospitals don't typically track revenue. And then you have sessions, and then it'll show you how many people in the last 30 minutes. When we're looking at Google Analytics, especially for longer term trends, you want to just make sure that your traffic is benchmarked and you know what you should be getting, so that if you start to see any major changes, you're going to be able to say, hey, we just saw a 20% decrease in traffic. What on earth should we do? We need to make adjustments, figure out exactly what's happening and how to make adjustments, so that you're not just guessing like, appointments have dropped off 20%. Wonder what's happening. Oh, well, we'll just keep going and hope it changes, right? And that's what most practices say. If you have an understanding of how traffic is going over time, you're going to know, okay, look at this. Our organic traffic just dropped by 30%, or our paid traffic has completely stopped. Maybe our credit card has expired. We can then take a look at these different things and hopefully assess the situation. I kind of think of it like this. Imagine if every single patient you had coming into your practice, you weren't allowed to do any tests, diagnosis, or anything. You just had to give people an answer to what was wrong and how to fix problems. That'd be totally unrealistic, right? So we need to understand what are the symptoms so that we can make an accurate diagnosis. And that's what Google Analytics does for us. Now, when it comes to things like trying to figure out return on investment, trying to figure out the quality of traffic, let's actually dive into the traffic quality. So we have total numbers of traffic coming to the site, and then we have metrics that are going to help us to measure how that traffic is engaging with the site. So people come there, then what do people do when they get there? We have things like average average duration, so how long people are there on average. We have how many pages per session, so how many pages people go to and are looking around. Typically, for both of those things, you want higher duration and higher pages per session. Typically, it indicates a higher quality of traffic. We're going to look at bounce rate, so how many people are getting to the site and then immediately leaving, especially if you're doing paid traffic, right? Maybe you have a Facebook ad that you're driving people to your website, or a Facebook post, or any kind of organic post that you're doing. If you're sending people to your website and you have a high bounce rate, there's probably some kind of disconnect between what people think they're going to get and then what they actually get. Or maybe there's just not a clear conversion path on that page that gives them a way to actually convert. And then beyond that, so we have total users, we have quality of traffic, engagement on the site, and then we have goals and conversions. And those are the kind of three groups that I like to just really label and identify here. in Google Analytics. And conversions are set up through now what are called events. And so it used to be that you'd set up Google Analytics as its own product. You'd have pages and URLs and goals that you'd set up inside of Google Analytics that were separate from everything else. But in my opinion, the easiest way to create goals and conversions in Google Analytics is through using Tag Manager. So Tag Manager is a great Google product that also helps to connect Google Ads to Google Analytics and communicate between both of them. So if Analytics is measuring what's happening on the site, Tag Manager is basically the thing that you configure all of those triggers. You set up Tag Manager once from a coding standpoint, so you install the code on every single one of your pages across your site. And it's basically like sticking a Tupperware dish on your site that you can then put stuff in and take it out without having to then code and have technical knowledge on how to code and do things. You can also set up triggers like button clicks, scroll depth, people calling phone numbers on the site. So if they click the number, because buttons on sites actually are numbers. Numbers on sites are actually buttons. So when somebody clicks your phone number, Google Tag Manager can measure that. If you have online booking, if somebody either gets to a confirmation page or if you just want to measure the button click, because a lot of products don't actually have analytics included in them, which is, in my opinion, a big drawback for a lot of those products. But you can measure the actual button click and then see what your analytics company, your app company for like your booking tells you about analytics and piece everything together. But having conversion set up inside of Google Analytics is important because you can measure that from different traffic sources, and you can apply filters to look at the traffic and see how each one of your traffic segments is working. So you could see how organic is doing. You could see how, let's say Google does versus Bing or other search engines. You could see how different social media channels are performing. And then you could also see how any paid or advertising is converting versus other types of advertising. Usually when I look at analytics, I like to take a look at traffic by source, see how things are doing, where traffic is coming from, what is a good expectation of conversion based on those things. And then if we're doing any paid advertising, we want to try to at least meet that or exceed that. When it comes to conversion rates, time on site, bounce rates, things like that. So ultimately, having this all set up in a way that you're going to actually be able to understand and measure is really, really important. And that being said, I think it's great if you just really focus on maybe 10 to 12 just baseline KPIs that you need to take a look at and understand what your trends are doing, where you're getting your traffic from, and things like that. I think ideally you would want to either set up a dashboard using Google Data Studio, which is a great free product that lets you pull in basically any Google product information from any Google product and put it in a place where you don't have to log in and perform clicks and do activities. You set it up once, and then you have a link that you can go back to over and over again, which is really cool. Or you can actually automate the setup of sending reports to yourself so that you just click the email, look at the PDF, and you know what's happening. If it was me, I would set this up on a day that I can review it at a glance just to have an idea for the upcoming week. So maybe it gets sent on a Sunday morning or a Monday morning. So first thing, I just take a quick look at it. I say, okay, we had 1,200 users over the past week. Here they came from organic, social, paid. Everything looks good. We're good to go for this next week. And that way you're making informed decisions moving forward and you're not just hoping and guessing. This allows you to do a lot of troubleshooting. I've done episodes in the past of how to troubleshoot your advertising, but really this is something that you have to get set up, that you have to look at. If you get it set up but you never look at it, there's really no point in having it. Although it is helpful for benchmarks and historical data, but ultimately if you don't ever look at it, you don't make adjustments and actively say, how can we improve the marketing that we're doing, it's not going to be helpful. So number one, if you have not logged into your Google Analytics, go take a look. If you've not set up GA4 yet, which is Google Analytics 4, that's something that you definitely need to do. It's an easy thing to set up. In the advanced training, I'm going to be going over that. I had to do a tremendous deep dive into Google Analytics because GA4 was a new experience for me. It's very different from the old Google Analytics, but I think it's superior. It doesn't take very long to learn. You just need to know what to look for. So be sure to sign up for the free training, the 3 no-brainer ways to track your marketing. I also have the advanced training that's going to be happening the week following. If you're interested in that, please be sure to reach out. And if you need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. But again, the thing that you need to do is make sure that you have analytics set up, take a look at it, understand what your benchmarks are, and then figure out how can we improve our marketing. We're going to talk about that in the next episodes. But this is the baby step that you need to absolutely do and have set up so that you can set yourself up for success. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll see you on the next episode.